Over the last few months, I have been seeing Hoult starring in a lot of movies, and after watching a lot of them, my conclusion is that he is the most underrated actor in all of Hollywood right now.
It was last October.
Impossible.
Chose him! Let them die!
Okay, I have not seen all of Hoult's filmography. I have to apologize for that, but I'm going to base off this analysis on his most recent work. What did this include? This includes The Menu, which is a little bit older compared to the other movies that are on this video. We have all movies from 2024, right? We have Nosferatu, we have The Order, and we have Juror Number 2. And finally, from 2025, we have Superman, where he was Lex Luthor. And the reflection that came from all of these movies is that I believe that Hoult is actually an awesome actor. Let's talk about it. So before I start explaining you why I think this, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. I try to upload weekly film content, weekly movie content. I love movies, so if you love movies, come on in and join this channel, subscribe, check out the weekly videos. I try to make as much videos as I can. Right now we are on 30 subscribers, not much, but I'm very thankful because I want to grow a little bit more and share what I think with the world. With that being said, now let's talk about Hoult. So what has been the recurring theme of the movies that I have watched from Hoult lately? It's been two common things, which is either he's a great protagonist or a great antagonist. Let's talk about him being a great antagonist first. Before going on with what is probably like his most star-making role, I would like to talk about first The Order. This is a movie that I personally did not enjoy much. Like I think it was a movie with potential. It's a movie that you can find on Amazon Prime right now. I didn't see it on theaters. I saw it this year actually, 2025, not 2024, when it was already available on demand on the streaming platform. And it stars YoYLosManus, and it's about basically this group that it's basically based on real events. It's basically a anti-Semitism group where YoYLosManus as a police needs to basically defeat them, uncover them, all that. But Hoult is the main antagonist, and for me the movie was a little bit bland, a little bit slow. I could not believe YoYLosManus' character, and I think that I couldn't believe his acting. But with Hoult, it was the other thing. For me, Hoult made this movie. In my opinion, he was a great antagonist. The story behind his character was very interesting. I think he did a great job, and you want him to lose, right? And I think that the character not necessarily is like well written. Not only that, what I mean is that he makes the performance believable. He makes you separate the character from the actor, and that's the next point, because we have Lex Luthor in Superman, Hoult playing the antagonist to the greatest superhero of all time, right? The differences between the other antagonist and the antagonist in Superman are very, very noticeable. If you've seen both movies, you will know what I'm talking about. One is a character driven by hate, and the other one is driven by envy. And you can notice those two emotions, those two feelings, and you can literally feel what the character is feeling. You understand him. You don't empathize with him, right? But what happens is that you actually believe what is happening, and you believe the character's motivations, and you feel like the character is real. You don't feel like it's an actor. You understand what I mean? And Hoult's Lex Luthor is, in my opinion, one of the best comic book antagonists we have had in a long time. I probably say that with every comic book villain, but I don't know. I think he genuinely did a great performance, and it's a performance that I think will be talked about for years to come. I'm going to go a little bit more into detail after I talk about the protagonistic roles, but basically his roles, his characters are carried with his facial expressions, with his line delivery, and his way to just go too deep into the character. And Lex Luthor's character actually feels real. Like the Lex Luthor, you can feel the hate that's just towards Superman, and it's believable, and it probably actually comes with a little bit of real life aspect. Not that Hoult hates David Corenswet, but it's basically so funny that Hoult auditioned for Superman 2, everybody knows that. Then about the great protagonist that Hoult can be, I'm not talking about The Menu because I've seen it, but I remember it that well. Let's focus on Nosferatu and on Juror Number 2. Juror Number 2, firstly, is a movie that I personally did not like that much, but I think that Hoult did a great job. as a protagonist, because in a certain way you support that protagonist, in a certain way you find yourself invested in that story, even though it's not, in my opinion, a story that I'm personally very fond of. It's not a movie that I particularly thought that it was something great, but Nicholas Hoult did a really good job. It's a morally ambiguous character that, as a person, that I think, in my opinion, as a aspiring filmmaker, as a aspiring movie director, I think that those kind of characters have to be the most difficult to write and the most difficult to play. A morally ambiguous character that you as an audience member can root for and support regardless of what he has done. I think that that comes with great acting and with great writing. I think the character of Nicholas Hoult is the best written part of that movie, and that's why I think it's a 3-star movie. And then comes in Nosferatu, and I think that's probably his best protagonic role yet. He's not the direct protagonist, but at the same time he is. I don't know how to explain it. Nosferatu is one of the best movies last year, right? And it's maybe, in my opinion, the best horror movie of the year. I think it was so underrated on the Academy Awards. I think Lily Rose Depp should have won at least supporting actress, but I would have given her the Best Actress nomination. I think Nicholas Hoult did a great job in Nosferatu. It's not a role that is like one that you would say, oh my god, what a great role, right? But it's a great protagonistic role. It's a great protagonic role, like legit. It's a character that by the acting, by the dialogue, by the writing of it, you understand his motivations to save his wife. But that would not happen without a good actor. You know, I cannot emphasize how important good acting is. And the facial expressions, the character arc that Nicholas Hoult's character has, it's a very important thing, and it's a thing that carries the movie forward regardless of what happened. And you know, I think that nobody could have pulled it better than Nicholas Hoult, because his facial expressions in all of the movies that he's on are, in my opinion, like awesome. And that's where I stop talking about the movies and I start talking about why I think that he is legit one of the best actors of our generation, at least right now. To me, I believe he's acting. I don't feel like I'm seeing Nicholas Hoult. Like, of course, I am knowledgeable that he is there, but I do not see an actor, you know? And what happens that has happened in some roles in movies happens that you see whoever is playing that character rather than an actual character, you know? For example, Jurassic World Weaver, a very blockbuster-ish movie. I don't see Sora or whatever the name of Scarlett Johansson's character was. I see Scarlett Johansson, I see Jonathan Bailey, and I see Mahershala Ali. That's who I see. I don't see their characters. And I think the same happens with a lot of movies. You know, it happens on basically any kind of action movie, any kind of thriller, any kind of thing where that teacher's a big actor. And I'm not saying that these people don't act well. Of course they act well. Scarlett, Mahershala, and Jonathan Bailey are great actors. And the thing is that regardless of what I'm watching, whenever I see Nicholas Hoult on screen, at least on these movies, I believe he's a totally different person from the person that is being played in another movie. Lex Luthor does not compare to the character of the Order. The character from Nosferatu does not compare to Year Number 2. And of course, they are set on different times, on different universes, but it still applies. And what I think Nicholas Hoult does to do this is basically believing that he's that character. I don't personally know what his method might be. I believe that it all happens because of him believing, but also basically investing into the character that he's playing, giving the best performance that he can. And you can see that by his awesome line delivery. Like, I like the lines that all of his characters says are said with such pure emotion. Like, he believes what he is playing, he believes what he's portraying, and he believes everything that he says. And that's why all of his dialogues feel iconic in a certain way, you know? Like, I'm not saying iconic as a generational thing, but you actually feel like something inside. He makes you feel. He's an actor who makes you feel something, and that's what matters the most, and that's why I think he's great.
Who raised you as a child? I'll kill them too.
Also, like, not only line delivery, but facial expressions, all his gestures, all the way he interacts with the world that he has around him, the way he acts when the world and Nosferatu goes dark on the woods and basically the vampire comes for him. All the ways he interacts on a Luthor Corp on the Superman movie with his fellow teammates, his workers basically. And of course, when he screams, when he goes,
1A! 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 1A!
all those mannerisms, they express feeling and they make you believe and they make you feel, you know. Lex Luthor, for me, is maybe his best role from the ones that I've mentioned alongside the Order. I think that Nicholas Hoult. I don't know how many times I text his name on this video. But I genuinely, every time I have seen him on movies over the past year and over the past couple of months, I have just came out of the movie. If I saw it on theaters, right, or on streaming, I'm marveled. I'm shocked, and I'm very hugged by him, by his performance, not by maybe the writing, not by the story, but by him. And that's why I think that he is one of the most underrated actors right now. Because at least I feel like there's no enough talking about Nicholas Hoult. I don't feel like people view him as this awesome actor. I think people just view him as, I don't know, actually, I feel like he deserves more recognition. And yeah, that's all I can say. I don't know if I made myself enough clear. Maybe I should have polished off more of my arguments, but that's what I believe. I feel like Nicholas Hoult, through his facial expressions, through his style and delivery, and the way he interacts with the world that occurs in the movie, he makes you believe, he makes you feel, and that is why he is one of the best actors in Hollywood right now. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. That's all I have to say, really, about Nicholas Hoult. Let me in the comments what you think. Maybe you disagree with me, maybe you think he's overrated. I don't know. Just interact, tell me what you think, leave a like if you like the video. Maybe it was a little bit shorter, maybe I didn't make myself enough clear. So if you want to say something, say down in the comments below and I will answer as I always do. I invite you once again to subscribe. I try to make weekly film content, and yeah, I have some videos coming up. You can check out my Superman review above in my channel. You can also check out my short film I did alongside my girlfriend. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. I am an aspiring filmmaker, and I guess I'll see you in the movies.